How did my production skills develop throughout the making of Glam? When I first started the project, my skills with production were not the best and rather basic. However, I had some ideas of how a magazine cover should look like by going through and reading other famous people's magazines. However, I didn't really understand how they were structured and designed. As I continued with the project, I found that researching real fashion magazines and analyzing their layouts and their way of using colors and their different fonts, as well as the cover lines that they used, this really helped me get a better understanding of how to make my own fashion magazine look realistic and eye-catching to a targeted audience. How I applied and benefited from the things learned from the research I did to fix the mistakes in my fashion magazine cover. In the beginning of the project, my first draft had a couple of problems. For example, the layout didn't really look as organized and a bit messy. I think it was because of the font I used didn't really match the fashion magazine conventions that other magazines used, as well as the cover lines were placed in a crowded manner, which made them look not as professional. However, after I decided to do some research on the real fashion magazines, I came to realize that the majority of the covers follow a certain rule, which are a clear, straightforward masthead, as well as cover lines that were very organized. Another thing that caught my eye is that fashion magazines use a constant color scheme, and their cover lines always look organized and stylish. Using sans serif fonts also play a big part in achieving this kind of result. Based on this, I chose to change the fonts on the cover and limited them to this to ensure that they would match the fashion aesthetic more. Another thing that I found helped with the model in my picture stand out more is by editing the brightness. This is something I saw in many of the professional magazine covers during my research, as well as I added a black and white filter to make it more elegant and clean.